there is a bigger dream waiting for you. Not a loud dream, not a rushed dream, but a quiet one that has never stopped calling your name. And the real question is, most people don't realize this, but the hardest part of life isn't failure. It's resistance. It's the constant tension between who you are and who you're afraid to become, between what feels familiar and what feels true. We tell ourselves stories like, now is not the right time. I'm not ready yet. I need to be more prepared. But deep down, we know the truth. The dream isn't waiting for a better version of you. It's waiting for your permission. Why haven't you stepped into it yet? We grow up believing that life is something we must control. Control the outcome, control the timing, control how everything looks from the outside. And when things don't go as planned, we assume we've failed. But what if life was never asking you to control it? What if it was asking you to cooperate with it? Because here's what I learned, slowly, painfully, honestly. Everything you're trying to do is already in motion. You're not late. You're not behind. You're just resisting. Every thought carries energy. Every choice carries energy. Every intention carries energy. And life responds to energy, not excuses, not appearances, not explanations. That's why you can work so hard and still feel stuck. Because effort without alignment creates exhaustion. But effort with intention creates flow. When I finally understood that, I stopped asking, what do I need to do next? And I started asking, what am I putting out right now? Intention is invisible. No one claps for it. No one rewards it immediately. But intention decides everything. Before every action, there is a reason. Before every word, there is a motivation. And before every result, there is an intention. You can smile with resentment. You can give with expectation. You can help while secretly wanting approval. Life feels that. Life always feels that. Think about how often we do things just to be seen, to be chosen, to be validated. We say yes when we mean no. We stay quiet when we want to speak. We shrink when we're meant to expand. And then we wonder why we feel disconnected. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're not being honest with your intention. There comes a moment in life when pretending becomes more painful than changing. That moment doesn't announce itself. It shows up as exhaustion, as restlessness, as a quiet sadness you can't explain. That's the soul asking for alignment. And that's when I knew I couldn't keep creating without intention. I couldn't keep lending my voice to things that felt empty. So I chose differently, and this is the moment most people never allow themselves to reach. The moment when you stop asking, what do I want from life? And you start asking, what does life want from me? Because the truth is, your dream was never random. Your sensitivity, your strength, your doubts, your longing for more. None of it was accidental. You weren't created to copy someone else's path. You weren't created to live smaller just to be accepted. You weren't created to survive. You were created to express something that only you can bring into this world. And the moment you stop resisting who you are, The moment you stop negotiating with fear. The moment you stop waiting for permission. Everything begins to realign. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you finally stop fighting what was always meant for you. And then I asked a question that required real courage. Not a question of strategy, but a question of surrender. What is your dream for me? Who was I created to be before fear had an opinion? When I walked away from what was familiar, I didn't walk into certainty. I walked into the unknown. I didn't know how it would work. I didn't know if people would follow. And I made mistakes. Big ones. Public ones. But I learned something valuable. Failure doesn't destroy a dream that isn't fueled by ego. It refines it. Here is the truth most people avoid. You have no power in someone else's life, no matter how much you try. But in your own life, your choices, your boundaries, your values, you are powerful beyond measure. Stop trying to manage what isn't yours and start honoring what is. Here is the truth most people avoid. You have no power in someone else's life, no matter how much you try. But in your own life, your choices, your boundaries, your values, you are powerful beyond measure. Stop trying to manage what isn't yours and start honoring what is. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to earn your worth. You don't need to be louder or smaller or different. There is a dream that already knows your name. It was created with you in mind, and it has been waiting patiently for your yes. So ask yourself today, what am I still blocking? What am I still resisting? What am I ready to trust? Write it in the comments, and when you're ready, step into it.